Good evening, Mr. Korsi Senyo.
Good evening, Madam Blessing.
You are the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Peace Building.
Sure.
And one of the invited guests at the 2016 Ghana Peace Invasion Campaign media launch.
Sure.
And you heard what the CPP National Youth Organizer said, Mr. Ernesto Yeboah.
Yes.
As a peaceman, what does this statement make of the peace and security of Ghana's November polls?
Thank you very much, Madam Blessing. This surely tells us that all is not well as far as the November poll is concerned. This tells us that a section of the Ghanaian population is not at peace going into election 2016. When you hear him very well, he actually declined to pledge for the peace pledge, brought by the youth icons. And I think what he sought to do is actually to ignite a debate into looking at the issues affecting them as a political party.
What would actually make a political party decline or refuse to pledge for a peace campaign towards 2016 elections?
Yeah, what will actually make a political party do what he did is because of the issues he raised. Number one, he made mention of fraudulent voter register. According to him, Ghana has a fraudulent voter register for which we are going to the polls with. So if we are going into elections with a register which a political party has an issue with, this tells you and I that something needs to be done. And he also raised the point of the states having confiscated their properties, which he listed some of the properties the state confiscated. And he is trying to let us know, or let the Ghanaian know, the plight of the CPP and their dissatisfaction and internal hate. This is telling us that the CPP as a party is not at peace inside. So under no circumstances would they come out publicly to pledge for peace. He will see this, looking at what he said, to him this will be very hypocritical at their part. Having so many injustices, having incurred so many injustices in the past, like he said, coming out publicly to actually pledge for peace.
But I would like to ask, could this have been the right platform to voice out his dissatisfaction?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Okay.
This platform, the platform he used yesterday, shouldn't have been the right platform he should use. But I think he is trying to use this platform to draw attention to what exactly he meant. Perhaps if the right platform would have been used, the attention the media, maybe the public, would actually give to what he wants to be done will actually be the. So it's just like a knife. You have a knife, you use it to prepare food and eat, and that same knife can also be used to chew. So he has decided to use yesterday's knife to do what he did.
So do you think Mr. Yeboah can make that change his party has for years longed for?
Yes, I believe, even looking at the platform he actually used to make the call, it should actually ignite a national debate. I think that is what he is trying to do, so that the public, civil society, the media could now come and say that why should the CPP decide to decline for peace towards election 2016, and this could cause a change, of course a change that he wants. So at this point I think civil society, the media, we should all rather come together to look in the issues that Mr. Yeboah raised in his statement and see how best we can resolve this issue before we go to the election 2016. Someone might say that, oh, CPP in Ghana politics, they are in minority. But I can assure you that, I can assure you that even a single individual can destabilize a state. So if a political party, no matter how small they are, if they have a concern, if they have issues unresolved, it could actually lead to something else. So I think we should do something about this.
Quoting you, you said a single individual could destabilize the state. Will this not create, his statement, will it not create violence in the minds of its members towards the election?
Of course. Being, like he said, his position, being the commander-in-chief of the CPP Youth League, his statement could actually heighten tension in the minds of the youth of the CPP, in the sense that if their commander-in-chief is publicly stating that he, and on behalf of the Youth League, is declining to pledge for peace, and with the issue he's raised, it actually called for intervention. It means that CPP and the youth could go into the election with different mind, with having no peace in the mind. And peace starts from the mind and the heart. If the heart and the mind are not at peace, under no circumstances will your action be peaceful.
He made mention of changing the voters register. Should the voters register, in your own opinion, should it be changed?
Yes, I cannot sit in my armchair right now and say that the voter register should be changed. Unless, of course, the reasons why they want the register changed supersedes why the voter register should not be changed. First, we need to look at the cost involved, as in financial terms, the cost involved, how much it will cost the state changing the voter register. Number two, we need to look at the magnitude of the claim fraud in the register. Then number three, we also need to look at the consequences that the state had to bear should that voter register is maintained, and after the election an issue crops up that has to do with election fraud or whatsoever. We all saw what happened during election 2016, where the MPP had to go to court because they believed the election, there was a lot of irregularities as far as the elections were concerned. So if the election has not yet come, we have some months to the election, and political parties are raising issues of the voter register, which is one of the key elements in the election. I think this issue should be taken seriously, which I even know, and I know that the Electoral Commission has taken this issue up. They empaneled a 3-member committee to actually look into this. But you can see that irrespective of the discussions or the forum held by the Electoral Commission, irrespective of that, these political parties, CPP and the MPP, are still not yet satisfied. And mind you, NPP, they are the largest opposition party in Ghana. CPP is one of the minority political parties in Ghana. But if they are also siding with NPP, then it means that something need to be done. Something urgently need to be done as to whether we should invest to protect the peace of our country, or we should ignore whatever they are saying, and go ahead with the elections with this same voter register.
Could you, with all sincerity, sir, applaud him for invoking his anti-peace statements in such a peaceful campaign?
Yes, first of all, I don't see this as anti-peace peace statement, but I rather see it as a call for dialogue.
Okay.
Now, the fact that I'm not at peace with you doesn't mean I'm at war with you.
Okay.
the fact that I disagree with you doesn't mean I'm at war with you. Every human society, conflicts are bound to happen, but it depends on how we handle such conflicts. That is what make us go to war or go for peace. So I think what he's calling for is actually a dialogue for the whole nation to rally behind the CPP to try to resolve some of the issues that he has raised, for which he has decided not to pledge publicly for peace as far as the elections is concerned, because it will sound very hypocritical to him and maybe for his party for having so many heads inside them and then going publicly to
But collectively, other political parties, aside their disappointments, dissatisfactions, disagreements with several issues in the country, pledge to work towards achieving peace in the country. If not pledge for peace, what else could Mr. Yeboah go for?
I think he's going for dialogue. Dialogue is what he's going for. The statement he made is actually to invoke a national debate into as to why Mr. Yeboah, or as to why he has chosen to decline for peace, and us looking deeper into the issues he raised. What actually led to the confiscation of the CPP's property, and why is the state of Ghana still holding on to these properties? You understand? We need to find out, or the public need to know. The CPP also need to know. We also need to know whether the issues that are being raised as far as the voter register is concerned are genuine issues. Do you get it? If this particular issue need to be resolved, then he's calling for dialogue for us to see how we can resolve this issue. I can tell you that what he also sought to suggest, for which he has decided to decline, is that maybe to him, where the organization started from shouldn't have been where it should start from with this campaign. Maybe to him, the organization should have rather first of all called for a dialogue. Let all political parties, let all individuals come and let's hear their grievances and find a lasting solution, how best we can resolve these differences, and then before we come and pledge for peace. But to him, he has a lot of hurt within him. He's suffering from injustice, and then all of a sudden they want him to pledge for peace. Of course he will not. Yes, madam, he will not.
I remember the NPP, the flag bearer of the NPP,
yes,
once made a statement, or that be dialed.
Yes, before the 2012 elections.
Yes, and that statement caused tension in the states. Could this not be one of those statements? Do you
yes,
think this statement could?
Yes, I think this statement was clear. Okay, was clear. Everyone knows why he actually declined.
Okay.
Do you get it? Now, it should not cause tension, because he has made the points clear that look, even he said that Ghana, he questioned Ghana's commitment towards democracy, what he described as the state strangles on the rights of other political parties, yet expect that they compete for freely and fair election. Do you get it? So he's trying to say that there are a lot of issues that need to be resolved before we go to the polls. So in fact, if these issues are not resolved, I think election 2016 is going to be more tougher than election 2012. So in my view, I think we should now come together, okay, and then constitute a more national discussion on this issue and see how best we can put pressure on government to release their properties for them, or to let the public know why still their properties are being seized, and also look into the issues of the voter register. But what I was not satisfied or I disagree with his statement was what he made that has to do with the IGP's call for political parties not to maybe do any vigilante group or not, which he described as a subtle threat. I think for this statement, I totally disagree with him, because what the IGP was calling for is in the right direction. Right direction in the sense that the state has mandated the security services, the police, to carry on their lawful activities. So under no circumstances should political parties constitute sub-bodies, okay, to be competing with the authorities, the security services, to do the same work. So at the end of the day, the groupings within these political parties are going to undermine the work of the security services, which is not good for us, peace and security.
So are you sure Ghana would have a peaceful 2016 election if this dialogue, as you said, is called?
Yes, I think Ghana can see peace, and I'm very optimistic that come 2016 November, we will still chalk the success we chalked over the years. Now, but we shouldn't be very complacent. Anything could happen. So that is why the issues that are now coming up are issues that we should actually be looking out for before election 2016. What actually causes violence in elections has more to do with, has a lot more than what we see, the public see on their eyes. Do you understand? We have a lot of youth unemployment in Ghana. The unemployment rate is high, and so long as these youth lack positive opportunities and engagement, they become ready. So any little influence from either a political party or so-called big men could ignite any fire.
Good, you mentioned that. So
yes.
Could this mean that Mr. Yeboah is indirectly calling or pledging for violence?
No, he wasn't pledging for violence or calling for violence. He's simply saying that he himself and the members of his party.
Yes, he stood for those youths.
Yes,
as you just said, there are these unemployment issues and all that could make a youth ready for anything. You get it?
Yeah.
So could it be that he's indirectly chanting or making them ready to face such?
No, I don't think that is what he's calling for. You understand?
Okay.
I even know he has a great respect for peace. Other than that, he wouldn't have even come there at all.
Good.
To make the public know of his head or what is deep inside
that
of him.
Could also be.
Do you understand?
Platform
so
too.
That could well, he respected peace, or he's someone who respects peace. That is why he's even at the first place coming there to make the public know that for me, I'm not at peace. If there is any help, please, the public, offer me. Yes, so I'm not sure he's not calling for violence. Neither is he inciting the youth to go violence. He's simply calling for dialogue so that the CPP can also see justice.
But his statement, should he denounce his decline to save the nation from any misunderstanding, because his members could maybe misunderstand
he can only denounce that statement or that statement, okay, if deep inside him he see that some of the issues, at least an attempt is being made to resolve the issues. If Mr. Yeboah and the CPP sees right now that the state is trying to make an effort, okay, into releasing their property, not even totally releasing their property, but making an effort or giving them an ear, okay, and then call them on dialogue, they will see that, okay, the issue we raise is being attended to. So of course they will actually call their members that
ceasefire.
They will cease fire because there is a hope for the future. But when some of these statements or comments are made, and it seems that nobody cares, do you understand? It hurts the most, and it could be very dangerous and disastrous for the peace and security of this nation.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Korsi Senyo.
You are welcome, madam.
We are very glad for the insights and having you on the show.
Thank you so much.